On March 11, 2020, the Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Ghebreyesus, declared the COVID-19 a pandemic.
WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
A few days later, the country's land, sea and air borders were closed by President Akufo-Addo.
Fellow Ghanaians, we must do everything within our power to contain the spread of the virus. Firstly, all our borders, that is by land, sea and air, will be closed to human traffic.
At this point, the world had almost come to a halt, and both developed and developing economies were being crushed under the weight of the virus. The death toll in places like Europe and China was rising very rapidly. Every sector of the world's economy, from stock markets to oil production, was not exempted, but tourism was one of the most affected. A ban on travels forced countries to look internally for solutions. Booked flights were cancelled, and hotels accommodations booked for international conferences also felt the weight of the negative impact of COVID. Developing countries have borne the biggest brunt of the pandemic's impact on tourism due to the absence of widespread COVID-19 vaccinations. They suffered the largest reductions in tourist arrivals in 2020, estimated at 60 and 80%. The United Nations World Tourism Organization places the cost at about $4 trillion. This year's World Tourism Day is on the theme Tourism for Inclusive Growth. The COVID-19 pandemic presents an opportunity to rethink the future of the tourism sector. Sewa Gbene is the marketing lead at Adansi Travel and Tours. She has been explaining how the industry is recovering post-COVID.
These days, normal is in quotes, so it's the new COVID normal. We have tried to do destinations that are open and available. So since October 2020, we've had monthly trips to Dubai. Dubai is open and safe for us to go. The COVID protocol is that you do the PCR test, negative, you need a negative PCR test. You get to Dubai, they also test you. And then if you spend more than 1 week, you have to do another PCR test before you come back to Ghana. Once you arrive at the Kotoka airport, you also do the antigen test. So for a 1 week trip, you need a minimum of 3 COVID tests. We have to look at educating the public. We as individuals need to understand the benefit tourism would have for us. We have so much to show off, but because we do not understand the value of what we have, it makes it very difficult to protect these things. In some countries, certain animals are not killed because that is what brings them income.
According to the United Nations Tourism Organization, the tourism sector has been the most affected. As the world marks World Tourism Day today, we asked hoteliers, how are they recovering from the negative impact of COVID?
Hoteliers say they are gradually recuperating from COVID. Manish Nambiar is the African area manager for Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel.
I think it's important to note that the diaspora took very well to the year of return. Accra and Ghana was overwhelmed with the amount of visitors. There were various forums that were used at that point of time, including music and dance and lifestyle and business opportunities, networking, investment and so on. And we see a lot of people who came in for the year of return in 2019 eager to come back also in the Beyond Return campaign that is going on. So we're quite confident that some of these initiatives that were put in place will help us in not just tourism but also in business and investment and so on. Some countries have adapted by internal tourism. Some countries have adapted by moving into markets that are heavily vaccinated and changing their source markets for business. Ghana, for one, I think has done quite well because we've been quite stringent on the visitors coming in initially, thereby reducing the risk of COVID on the local population, and then the measures that they put in place to make sure that double testing before they come in, 72 hours prior, airport testing has also reduced. We have, I think, one of the lowest infection and hospitalization.
So I ask, what is the fate of the local artisans at the Accra Arts Center, especially Klu, who is fiscally challenged?
Actually, my problem is, number one, I come here, I don't get any proper place to stay. And then number two, I don't get market for my things because of I don't get shop and polish and pull down. So I don't do them like this raw. Then somebody can buy and put in shop, then sell them big money. This be my problem.
How much do you sell this?
This I sell them for the people where they market inside is 20 cedi. Yeah, like raw like this.
But apart from this game boards you are designing, what other things do you do?
They do so many things. They do elephant, lion, rhino.
In the central region, a mention can be made of the Kakum National Park, Elmina Castle, as the most visited places of interest. The Volta region has the Vli Waterfalls, the Tafi Atome Monkey Sanctuary, Mountain Gemi, Afajato, and the Liati Snake Village, coupled with clean beaches that has great tourism potential when properly harnessed. In addition to these sites, the James Fort, Kwame Nkrumah Museum, and many others dotted across the country will go a long way to boost domestic tourism through aggressive education and marketing. The Ghana Tourism Authority, the Ministry of Tourism, and the Volta Regional Coordinating Council were in the Hohoe Municipality and Afajato South District in the Volta region to mark this year's national celebration of the World Tourism Day. The acting deputy chief officer at the Ghana Tourism Authority, Eko Sampson, says all is being done to resuscitate the industry through a number of activities.
COVID-19 pandemic has impacted negatively on tourism growth, job creation and livelihood of communities that depended on tourism. In 2019, tourism generated $3.3 billion with a total of 1.1 million arrivals. But this was sharply depressed with the advent of COVID-19 to 355,108 arrivals in 2020, with a receipt of $387.1 million.
The Deputy Minister of Tourism, Marco Krekumante, on his part, indicated that government will expand infrastructure at various tourist sites across the country and ensure inclusion and poverty reduction to create employment for the teeming youth.
My ministry, in collaboration with the implementation agencies, plus Ghana Tourism Federation, has operationalized several interventions, including the National Tourism Window Destination Project, the Presidential Film Pitch Series, Domestic and Regional Tourism Drive, and launch of the Beyond the Return Committee to fast-track implementation and woo more tourists to the Ghanaian destination.
Volta Regional Minister Dr. Archibald Yaolecha says the Volta region is a microcosm of Ghana due to the numerous natural sites.
Volta region is truly and proudly a microcosm of our dear nation Ghana, as it contains visibly everything that other regions have to offer in terms of ecology and weather. Unfortunately, that the development of tourism in the region has been relatively slow. This situation must change. There is therefore the need for a collaborative effort between state institutions and the private sector to positively improve the narrative on tourism development and promotion in the region.
Tourism encompasses the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the language we speak, and even the culture. Artisans here at the Arts Center in Accra bemoans the fact that government did not include them in this year's celebration, hence they are ignorant about the World Tourism Day. They call on government intervention in subsequent national events. I am Fred Duo reporting for City News.